Akron Arlen Banky's original Chrysler Wedge car taking on one of the rare 421 Super Duty Pontiac Tempests.
Akron Arlen's car being driven by Paul Suloff. He's a defending world champion in this particular class. He'll be going up against Eric Johnson from Crete, Illinois with that 62 Pontiac.
Those lightweight aluminum front-end Tempests were monsters. Look at that thing. Yank the front wheels off the starting line just like they did 30 years ago. But now the Max Wedge Chrysler starts to march on the top end. This one will go to the Mopar. The original aluminum front-end lightweight racer as well. This is another car, Ted, that's worth over $150,000, is cruising in the low tens.
This is Danny Bird, our next pair up from Sikeston, Missouri. His 64 Belvedere, 417 cubic inch, against Derek Smith from Hicksville, Ohio.
Derek Smith is driving one of the more unusual factory high-performance cars, that Hemi-powered 67 Plymouth Belvedere, and he's leading Danny Bird all the way through with a 10.34 from that heavyweight. Amazing.
Our next pair ready to go will be the 1965 Plymouth Belvedere Wedge of Donnie Chapman from Milton, West Virginia. He'll be going up against Russ Campbell from Springfield, Missouri, driving one of the original 1962 Bel Air 409. This is a car like Dino Don started with.
That's right. You know, Johnson's running a car that was probably one of the most popular for Mopar fans out there. The early model Belvederes with the 425 horsepower, 426 Max Wedge machines. But these Chevys, Ted, they're worth a fortune.
The wheel stands is one of the things the fans like the best. Both cars pull the wheels, and pulling out the win will be Donnie Chapman's Big Wedge Plymouth with a 1035, 129.85 miles per hour.
They're starting to get closer and closer, and here's Doug Wright with one of the other Hemi-powered race cars running. This is one of Bob Marshall's original Dodge material machines. Right out of upstate Michigan takes on one of the true names from the past, Mr. 5 and 50 himself with his Hemi-powered Plymouth, East Coast killer Jack Wurst. And Jack Wurst gained that name, Ted, from one of the old Chrysler advertising slogans.
Well, that's because he used to break the famous Chrysler 5-year, 50,000-mile warranty, Rick.
I'll tell you, and a warranty shows you how long ago we're talking about. You don't get warranties like that anymore from Detroit.
Both these cars taking their time staging, trying to get maximum rollout so they can get a good hole shot. Watch the front end of the cars now. That's what made them so popular back in the 60s.
You saw the front end come up early, and it's a red light start for Mr. 5 and 50 as he draws a foul. A Hemi-powered Dodge, and the far lane takes the win here.
Let's see if he can turn a respectable ET. Oh, yes, 1040, 128 miles per hour. That's faster than they did it back in the 60s, Fred.
What's amazing is that all the winners in that round were within only a few tenths of a second. Just like the old days, all the brands are equal, Ted. And here's one of your favorites. And it looks like Paul Suloff will have a bye run with only 5 cars remaining in this quarterfinal round.
That's because Suloff had the lower qualifying position, so when the bye came available, he was right there to get it. Now that'll put him into the semifinals. Remember, he wants to repeat as the champion. 10:58, 128 miles per hour for Paul Suloff. Not a bad bye.
You'll notice that as opposed to modern-day drag racers, these cars are not that consistent. They're a handful just to get down the racetrack, and to do it within a tenth of a second every time is a good job. This is a rare one, a father versus son matchup. The Chapman family from near the Huntington, West Virginia area. Father versus son staging up. That's the old man in the Plymouth. It's his son, Gary. In the other lane, driving, believe it or not, a 1962 Dodge Dart.
Well, it'll be Chrysler against Chrysler. You often didn't see that on the line because, as you said earlier, Brett, they ran on class championship first.
Donnie Chapman, the old man, is going to waste the kid here, and I guess that's kind of appropriate, Ted. This is a nostalgia race.
Reminds me of back in the Grand Charger days. Donnie Chapman, a 1035, 129 miles per hour. He moves into the center.
I'll tell you, that 1035 makes him one of the quickest drivers so far this round. Now, with another Chrysler product on the starting line, that rare 1967 Hemi-powered Belvedere. The first of the GTXs takes on Doug Wright's Michigan-based Coronet lightweight car.
Now remember, this Coronet has seen plenty of action on America's drag strip previously.
You can always tell the high-performance Coronet Hemi machines with the single headlights. The production cars have 4 headlights. They actually start 2 out to make it lighter on the front end.
Both cars stage good start, wheels off the ground.
The Hemi Belvedere out in front. Doug Wright trying to make up the difference with the lighter Coronet, but it's not going to happen.
Nice run at a 10:35, 129 miles per hour.
Suloff's combination is not just high horsepower. His driving has helped him go from the number 6 qualifying spot here to the semifinals, where he's up against Donnie Chapman's Huntington, West Virginia-based original Plymouth Belvedere. The winner goes to the final round.
Both cars taking their time staging one more time. Plenty of rollout here at Memphis Motorsport Park.
A very slight hole shot to Chapman. Now Suloff is going to have to rely on the horsepower of his late model Plymouth.
At the 8th mile mark, looks like Suloff losing out slightly. It'll be Donnie Chapman, 10:37, 129 miles per hour.
That's interesting that Chapman managed to step up as much as he did. Now in the 10:30s, Chapman has taken over the favorite's role on Cheryl Lamp's time, but Derek Smith's Hemi-powered Belvedere may have a chance to overtake that number.
Remember, ET determines lane choice. Derek Smith is going to try and beat a 10:37 on this single run. The big Hemi grabbing plenty of air. No! 10:38, 129 miles per hour.
Well, Ted, it all comes down to this. The big Hemi-powered Belvedere takes on the Huntington, West Virginia-based early model Wedge type Chrysler. With Donnie Chapman behind the wheel, and Chapman, remember, had a performance advantage in the semifinals by 1 lousy hundredth of a second.
This may well come down to reaction times also. And you know what, Brett? The Chrysler fans are cheering. We had 409 Chevys, 427 Fords, and in the final, it's 2 Hemis. Sox and Martin would be proud of.
Plus, you got 2 classic different types of Chryslers. The Hemi-powered Belvedere with Derek Wright staging up right now, and Donnie Chapman's Wedge.
A big hole shot for Donnie Chapman. That means Smith is in big trouble.
They were evenly matched in the semis, but I don't know if the Hemi Belvedere can get around the West Virginia. No, Chapman takes it.
Chapman with a 10:51, 129, but listen to this. Derek Smith lost with a 10:37.
Tires for stock and EFI stock cleanse.